I'm going to just do a quick video. Definitely had a rough half of the day. Feeling a little bit better now, but I'm still kind of on the edge. You could, not quite on the edge. I'm better than I was during the day. This book The Verbally Abusive Relationship was the first book that really helped me understand what I went through. I was 25 when I moved overseas. I was a very happy-go-lucky person. I did have anxious tendencies for sure, but I also had a really good ability to just like socialize with people and make friends, and that's what I did. Anyways, it's a long drawn-out story. I'm not going to go into all the details, but I just wanted to read some things because it's a book that really broke it down for me, because I didn't know what happened to me. I came back in full-blown anxiety and depression a year and a half after. Less than a year and a half. And I had no idea really what had happened to me. I was like, oh, it's the stress of like being away, and it was really hard. I kept saying it was really hard. And I remember one friend asking me. And I would be like feeling so much anguish and having no words for like what I even went through. So I just want to say, like, this book starts off because people, and myself as well, I really minimized everything I went through, and it was really in year 8 after it that I really acknowledged that even was abuse. And yeah, it took me a good decade to even say it out loud. But verbal abuse is a kind of battering which doesn't leave evidence comparable to the bruises of physical battering. It can be just as painful, and recovery can take much longer. The victim of abuse lives in a gradually more confusing realm. In public, she is with one man. In private, he may become another. Subtle, diminishing, or angry outbursts, cool indifference or one-upmanship, witty sarcasm or silent withholding, manipulative coercion, or unreasonable demands are common occurrences. They are, however, cloaked in a "what's wrong with you?" "what are you making a big deal out of nothing?" attitude, and many, many other forms of denial. And that's exactly what it was. It was these tiny little earthquakes that were just kind of not always there, but increasing in frequency the longer I stayed there. And I say in relationship, it wasn't in a dating relationship, but it was definitely a very interdependent relationship. And when you've lived your whole life where logic actually works and like people listen to you and reason with you, like with my family, and then you're in a situation where you're incredibly isolated, and you know, the internet was still new then. You had to go to a cafe, or I remember when I got an apartment, it was dial up and it was not cheap. So like I didn't use it very often. And you know, it was ICQ then and it was really minimal. And calling home was also very expensive. So I'd buy a calling card for like, you know, whatever, $20. But yeah, I was just so incredibly isolated that when things really started going wrong, and it was like just really increasing in frequency, and I had so much guilt and shame over my part in this toxic relationship that I just went into silence and avoidance. And I probably will talk about that at some time, not because I want to, because I definitely don't enjoy it, and I don't look forward to people possibly commenting and just dishing on more blame, because I already got lots of that. But all these things that it talks about, one-upmanship, sarcasm, silence, manipulation, and just like this mind fuck of really denying my feelings, constantly telling me I was wrong, and what it used to tell me, like, I'm thinking wrong, something's wrong with my thinking, and it's just like, it's not like I believed it, because I was like, so stupid, but it constantly just constantly wore me down. And, you know, and people don't talk about is like, there are times when the chaos is lower, and like I was with like my best friend, and so it's like I still feel like I know him really well, even though I haven't talked to him in like more than 20 years, because I did know him really well, and we actually did have a lot of good times. But the problem is, once you pass that threshold of into abuse and then don't leave and don't draw a boundary, like, I just feel like from that moment I turned on myself. I lost something in myself after like the worst episode of rage, I would say, and I felt so alone and isolated in this foreign country, because at that point he was really my only friend. And I went back, and from that point on, I think I really, really damaged my emotional health. And I'm still really embarrassed and ashamed. I'm still living in shame and embarrassment over everything. And I'm going to use this channel as a very micro way of just telling my story. I'm like, I definitely have thoughts of self-harm, and I don't ever want to do anything, don't get me wrong, but if anything were to happen, I would at the very least want my story to be told. Because it was really the silence that I chose. That did me in. And it's still a pattern. It's an extremely difficult pattern to break. If you've been verbally abused, you have been told in subtle and not so subtle ways that your perception of reality is wrong and that your feelings are wrong. And that is what I got a lot of. And it never, ever stopped. Like, I mean, he was in my life for like 4 years, and it just, like, it never stopped. I had to walk away. Eventually I walked away, because I realized finally it would never, like, he would never stop. But I was already really damaged by then, wasn't I? Anyways, I'm hoping I just have to do something different, or I'm never gonna heal. And I don't know what that is, and most of the time I'm too depressed to do anything, but I don't know. This is something. Even if only 5 people view it. At least I did it. Okay, bye.